Hi, I'm Sasha Rudikov,
I'm Asha Gidwani.
and this is why period leave is important to the economy. Billions of women and people who menstruate all over the world are afraid to ask for time off work for their periods in fear of discrimination, no matter how bad their pain is. Discussing periods has always been a taboo in society. This is 2022, and people should not have to ask for time off for their period. They should be allowed a 3 day period leave every month. This is a problem because for many people, period cramps can become so bad that they are unable to concentrate on their work. Productivity will go down drastically, and people could get in trouble for their work, all because their bodies feel like someone is ripping them apart from the inside. This was rarely a discussion before the 21st century, and even now, most people do not consider this a huge problem because they either are not affected or they have been trained to think that this is somehow acceptable.
Lack of period leaves has only become a widely known problem recently, although it has been quite visible in the news in the last few weeks because on May 17th, Spain became the first European country to introduce mandatory period leave. Period leave should be allowed for every person that menstruates for 2 to 3 days a month, as this is a real issue and affects more than half of the global population. There are very few countries in the world that allow for period leave, with only one of them being in the Western world.
Ever since the start of human civilization, women and non-CIS people have been women and non-cis people have been treated as second-class citizens. Despite periods being a natural and absolutely necessary phenomenon for people to even exist, they have often been looked down on as disgusting and improper. Even today, many women are taught to suffer in silence and are told that their period is something that they should not discuss with anyone. This and the trend of women being discriminated against in the workforce because they may end up needing to take time off for their period pains or pregnancy has caused them to be afraid to ask for just a few days off. People are still not accepting periods as a normal thing that should not be treated as disgusting or impure. But this stigma should be destroyed. A person should be able to freely ask for 2 or 3 days off a month so that they can deal with their pain for a few days in comfort before going back to work and being significantly more productive.
Pros of period leave would be that people would work a lot better if they do not have to deal with cramps at the same time. Aching for days straight and being unable to concentrate from a natural phenomenon should not be normalized because no one can truly work to the best of their ability under those conditions. Not to mention that the right to work and an education are basic human rights, and not being able to take days off for pain disrupts these freedoms. The cons to giving period include the cons of giving period leave include that they will not be contributing to their workplace for a few days every month, and that people would actually have to acknowledge that periods exist. Well, there are many organizations that would claim that the reason they have not given a solution already is because they do not want to give up paid period leave and lose money. In truth, the main reason is that people just do not think that periods are such a big deal, despite the fact that periods have been proven to sometimes be more painful than a heart attack. There are certain countries and organizations that have implemented a period leave. For example, Korea, Indonesia. In a smaller scale, there are a handful of companies, mostly in Asian countries, that also offer period leave.
The best solution for this problem is simple: giving worldwide period leave to all menstruators. A 2019 study showed that periods account for around 9 days of lost productivity annually. Meanwhile, considering that periods often land on weekends and would not require leave, getting around 15 days off every year for periods would increase productivity for the days that people come back because they do not have to work through the pain. There is no real reason that people should have to work while they are on their period.
This can have a huge effect on the economy because 9 days of lost productivity per year per every other person results in billions of days of productivity lost every year in the world. Giving a period leave would decrease this significantly. If we do not do anything, not only will the world lose billions of days of productivity, but women and trans people will never truly get equity. Equity means that everyone gets exactly what they need to have the same opportunities. And for people who menstruate, this is a short monthly period leave. In conclusion, not giving a period leave will have very serious consequences not only for the economy but also for society.
Thank you for listening.